cares? I don't know. But you don't build. I don't know what. All right. You don't build a business. You build a people, and then people build the business. And next up is Lauren talking about referral programs.
I tell you what, let's pause. Do you think it's on auto?
I don't know. I don't think so.
So just back out and see. Just hit Control A and then auto. You're in PowerPoint, right?
Yeah.
Or just auto advanced.
It was fine for the first content.
Yeah. There you go.
Good.
So my part of the project is on the referral programs. A referral program is an institution in some places of business where current employees can refer people they know to fill a position within the company they work for. And if the employers determine that these applicants are qualified to do these positions, they can compensate the employee who had referred them in the first place. Referral statistics, over the past decade, about 28 to 30% of jobs were filled from the employee referrals, and in companies that stress the referrals, see about 35 to 45% of their employees being recruited through these referrals. Employee referral programs are more cost effective than a lot of other recruiting strategies because they are often the fastest way to find external talent. And employee referred new hires tend to be better performers than non-employee referred hires and tend to stay within their organization longer. Creating and managing a vibrant employee referral program makes good recruiting sense because employer reserved jobs, job candidates are usually a good cultural fit and may need less onboarding when hired. Communication plans should include circulating information up and down the management chain and to non-management employees. The plan should also include how the employee referral program will be marketed to individuals outside of the company so that it can show the employee benefits of this company. Consider the multiple ways that employees access and retain information. Some people want to be emailed information, want to be texted information. Other people prefer to go to company meetings in order to obtain information or even social media. And any of these ways are a good way to communicate these referral programs. Now there is a downside to these referral programs because it creates an unintentional discrimination between in the company because the people being referred may be of the same race, religion, national origin, or other protected class. And one step that organizations can take to avoid unintentional discrimination is to use a variety of recruiting methods when advertising job openings in the organization. And this will help keep the applicant pool and then therefore the workforce more diverse. And another way to keep the program, to prevent the unintentional discrimination, is to keep the employee referral program open to the entire organization instead of just like specific like groups or chains or departments. And evaluating all candidates should use the same criteria no matter what the job is. Conducting ongoing analyses of the workforce and the applicant pool should be done to ensure that program yields intended results, and that included should be the diversity categories, quality of hire, and resulting tenure. And then if the program is not meeting intended goals and it is negatively affecting our workplace diversity, the organization may need to reevaluate its program and maybe even look at these 5 areas that are shown here, like the strategy, mission, planning, direction, or vision, or any combination of those 5. And then employees will often network outside their organizations and communicate with old employees that they had worked with before. And that gives them access to qualified people who may or may not be seeking a job at the time, but it gives them information just in case they wanted, like, where the opportunity was too good to pass up. Right, and the question that I asked here is, how beneficial is it for you to refer? And in my opinion, there's a lot of it's potentially very beneficial because you can be rewarded in so many different ways from your employers, depending on who you're referring and like what that job is. And then here's a couple company examples that I had found for GoDaddy. They compensate their employees up to $1,000 depending on who they referred and what position they would be in the company. And then Enterprise Rent-A-Car posts a leaderboard of regions who are referring the most people, and it's like a fun competition between regions so that they are more likely to refer people. The best ways to design a referral program: number one, determine the strategic goals and anticipated outcomes of the employee referral program. The goals should include improving the quality of hire metric, increasing new employee retention, improving employee morale, and improving the cultural fit of new hires. Number two, design the process and participation rules. Employee referral programs should be designed to be fast, simple, and user-friendly. Employers should develop a standard form for the employee making the referral to submit either by mail or by email, and the form should identify the current employee, the person being referred, and the position. Number three, devise rewards that will encourage employee participation. While employees will most likely want to get a cash bonus, there is other methods that can be considered, such as earning points to earn a reward, get gift cards, or even to be recognized in a staff meeting or a newsletter. Okay, that's fine. No problem. And the fourth one includes features to maximize referrals. One of the most important things about referrals is participation. So referrals should always be accepted even if there's no vacancy in the companies, and there should also be transparent communication between for the status of the referrals. And one thing I want to mention to you guys is LinkedIn referrals. So LinkedIn created this this website to connect potential employees and companies, and it tracks referrals and sends messages to the employees recommending people to let them know like where their applicant is in the hiring process. And I just want to thank you all for listening to me, and I'm going to turn it over to John, who's going to be talking about business connections.
All right, as Lauren said, I'm going to be talking about business connections. And in this day and age, obviously, everyone's so connected. It's all about who you know in the business world. Even if you have an amazing resume, if you know someone, you're going to have that much better of a chance of getting that interview or getting that job. And I know me personally, every job I've ever gotten, it's either been through a friend or through someone I knew. As we all know, being business majors, it's all about meeting people and networking in order to get your name out there. You never want to stop networking and getting your name out there because you don't know what an interaction with someone could lead to in the future. And the more lines you obviously have casted out, the better chance you have of catching something. This is obvious, but you always want to invest in yourself and completely in whatever you're doing. You never know who's watching, and you never know when you'll catch someone's eye. You always want to be professional and courteous with other business entities and people, and because of the way you handle something or someone, it could lead to a better opportunity in the future. And as a recruiter, you typically wouldn't prefer to hire a stranger. This person could be the best thing to happen to your company, but just because you don't know them, you might hesitate. If two candidates have a similar resume, like I said before, the recruiter will tend to go with the person they know. Like I said, recruiters tend to lean this way because the person got the job done for them before. They've had a positive interaction with them before. It's a matter of trust, and humans tend to take the safer route and want to do something that puts them in a safer situation. And the more connections, the better chance you have of this happening for you. For the company or recruiter, it's just as important to have a number of connections just as it is for the potential employee. The more people the company or recruiter knows and trusts, the more confident they'll feel about the pool of people they have to choose from and that they'll hire the right person. It's 2017 and we have so many resources and technology at our disposal, and you're simply being lazy if you aren't getting out there and promoting yourself. Just here at Rowan, we have countless events where you can meet and network with different companies and people in those companies, yet most people don't take advantage of it. One of the main ways to stay connected, obviously, is LinkedIn. You can encounter throughout your professional career, as you all know. It's the ultimate networking tool because it allows you to stay connected with everyone you come across in the business world, and it's the perfect space to lay yourself out there and really show off what you have to offer professionally for the person that you met. Say you meet someone who works for a big-time company at a work seminar, and you hit it off and have a great conversation with them. You can connect with them on LinkedIn, and maybe because of that first impression, as well as following them on LinkedIn, it'll tell them that you're really interested in them, and it could lead to a great job opportunity in the future. As a recruiter, you want to hire someone who does things like this, because someone who does things like this comes off as interested, they come off as driven, motivated, and those are all things that warrant being hired. Just like any aspect of life, if someone shows they will go the extra step and put in the work, then they're going to want to be on your team. A story I can relate to all this is my dad. He's retiring from the state police in December, and he's been there for 25 years now, and in those 25 years he's met thousands of people and encountered thousands of different situations that he's had to handle. He's the type of person who treats everyone professionally and respectfully, and no matter the situation, especially at work. He's attacked every aspect of his job to the full potential, and whether he knew it or not, he was networking and connecting with all of these people throughout those 25 years. And by treating people the way he did and working as hard as he did, he left most interactions with people feeling positive about him, and he made countless friends and connections that would eventually help him out in the future. And because, like I said, you never know when you'll catch someone's eye or leave it a positive impression. Like I said, he's going to retire in December, and he's still young though, and he's looking to get another job to continue to support a family. You'd think it'd be hard to find another job after doing the same thing for 25 years, but in his case, that's not the case because of how he's conducted himself over those 25 years and the connections he's made with the countless amounts of people. And he has many options right now. And he's not even officially retired yet, and he already has a number of interviews and potential well-paying jobs lined up. One of which is an interview to be a personal security officer or driver for the former CEO of American Express, and guy's obviously a big deal, has a lot of money, and you're not going to get that job without someone truly vouching for you. Which was exactly the case. He didn't just have these jobs offered to him for no reason. They were offered to him through the connections he made over those 25 years. And because he worked hard and conducted himself professionally, his colleagues noticed that and then are helping him out right now and making this transition smoother for him. I feel like my dad's a perfect way to sum up what I'm trying to say here. And even though this isn't the business field, it's the workforce, and it's all kind of the same. No matter your profession, you want to continue to go above and beyond at what you do and continue to promote yourself in every way possible. And all in all, no matter the process, you want as many connections as possible. Like I keep saying, you may think you don't need anyone else in life, and you can do it all on your own. But at some point, everyone needs someone to get them to that next step. And there's always someone out there that can help you. It's just a matter of knowing that person. To sum it all up and make it simple, you want to pride yourself on being a good and honest person and worker. And if you do this, it'll make it easier, and the rest will fall into place for you. Good stand-up people want to surround themselves with other good stand-up people. And I'm going to turn it over to Ryan.
Hi guys, my name is Ryan Marazzo, and I'm going to be concluding our presentation tonight with applicant tracking systems. But more specifically, what is an applicant tracking system? How does it work? What roles it played in the recruitment process? And how an applicant can optimize their resume for the applicant tracking system. So a quick little history lesson. The first applicant tracking system technology arrived in the late 1990s. Prior to that, the best thing we had was a filing cabinet, a phone, and a Rolodex. It's still relatively new and developing, and I might be referring it